Well, good evening. Welcome to another Western Junior B hockey telecast on McLean Hunter Cable 13. I'm Paul McCary, with me Jerry Mabry. And Jerry, tonight we have one of the teams from the upper echelon of the Western Junior B, the Chatham Micmacs, in here to face the Diamonds. And you know, this team was really great last year, and this year they've seemed to maintain a pretty good average. They're standing about fourth in the league, and that's a real credit to their organization.
Well, it certainly is, Paul, when you consider how many great players they lost last year. Of course, Warner was a #1 draft choice of the Windsor Spitfires. They had a young fellow by the name of Wiseman that literally lit the league up and broke every scoring record there was last year in the Western Junior B. And of course, now he's going to, I think it's Michigan or Michigan State, one of those two universities, on a full hockey scholarship. And I understand he's having a tremendous year down there. But no, there's no question about it. Chatham always seems to have good teams. They're able to get a lot of youngsters and blend them in nicely with their 19-year-olds. And I might also say that their goaltender, who's playing tonight, number 35, Danny Tavensky, I want to tell you, he is some sort of young goaltender too. There's a lot of scouts looking at him.
Well, there are a lot of them around here tonight. You mentioned that, and I've noticed about 4 that I see in the Junior A dressing room all the time. I know they're here from Niagara Falls. The Niagara Falls Thunder have a couple of guys here tonight. Oshawa, Bill Billington, our acquaintance from London here, whose son Craig plays pro hockey, is here for Oshawa. Here's the national anthem. Well, a very stirring rendition there of the national anthem, and the big crowd settles down, ready for this game, and it should be a good one. You know, the Diamonds have had a couple of important wins over St. Mary's recently, a team that we featured in McLean Hunter about a month ago, where it ended up in a 4-4 overtime tie.
Well, the Diamonds are currently holding down the last playoff spot, and it looks like they're in not any jeopardy of not making it, Paul. Last night they played in Chatham, and of course there was a real melee there. A lot of players suspended. I saw 3 Chatham players suspended as we came in. As a matter of fact, Karen Phipps let them in the back door into the arena. Not before she got their ID, though, to make sure they were players.
And legitimate ones at that, so hopefully some of the scouts won't be too disappointed here, and the guys that were suspended will turn out to be, you know, more fringe players or hatchet men than the ones the scouts are here to see. But we'll have to find out. Chatham was near the London line. They couldn't drag it across, delayed offside. There's LaBerge for London. Plays it off the boards here to Derek Curtis. Tried to get back to LaBerge. He did. It goes into the Chatham zone. And there's that goaltender, Tanevsky, that I hope he's tested tonight. If the Diamonds are short-handed, they might have trouble testing him. Young Bruce Moselle just hopped over the boards onto the ice. He'll be coming out there with Trevor Gallant and Jeremy Brooks. That's Brooks and Gallant are the 2 top scorers in the team, I guess, and they play together.
Currently, Jeremy Brooks has 28 goals with 13 assists, whereby Trevor Gallant, 15 goals and 31 assists. Of course, usually when you have a left-handed center, naturally all the passes are going to go to the right wing. So obviously Gallant's doing a lot of the playmaking, and Brooks would be the sniper on that line.
Oh, a bit of a two-hander there by Brooks. Caught his man. That was Dan Gardner for Chatham. He played there last year. There was a bad clearing pass by Brooks, kept in by Jason Day. Right in front. What a play there as the Chatham forward reached behind him, and that's Dan Gardner again, and he's a veteran of that team, and he almost made a deflection there that I don't think the goaltender for the Diamonds would have been aware of.
Well, Paul, we've done a number of Diamond games this year, and of course the team has changed somewhat. Goaltending situation has changed somewhat since we've been here. Sean Phipps is now playing in Streetsville, and they've got two new goaltenders. Of course, Galacci went down and is playing for Kingston.
That's right.
So they've had to pick up two new goaltenders, and this evening we have Mario
Katsanis,
yes, playing, and I believe he was in St. Mary's prior to
McDougall going down to them.
So,
oh, what a move by Brooks, Jerry. He's going right in. Tanevsky poked it off his stick the first time. He almost scored in the rebound, but the Chatham Micmacs left their goaltender all alone. He had to come up big. Good check in the Diamond zone there by Chris Page. Now Sean Smith comes in there. It still looks like there's a bit of animosity left between these teams after what you said was a bit of a rugged encounter last night in Chatham, the so-called Maple City, and we're the Forest City because we grow a lot of maples. Hard to believe. Anyway, back come the Micmacs. Brady Blaine, he's one of the Brady bunch. He gets ridden in on the boards there. Chris Page gets draped. Good indications here, Jerry, and we always tell the fans to come on out and watch these games in person. You can see thunderous checks like that. What entertainment value for your dollar. What a save by Katsanis there. He kicked that one aside. Back they come. A good fake there. The fake was made by Ian Ellis. He faked the pass, Jerry, and then he made it the second time around. Chatham Micmacs in their own zone up here in the left wing to Brady Blaine. He couldn't keep it out, and the Diamond shot it right in on goal, and Tanevsky covers up.
Well, I can see why a lot of the scouts are high on this young Chatham goaltender. Boy, he's really square to the shooter. He's out of the net quite a bit, cutting down the angle, and he just looks like a real good fundamental stand-up goaltender, Paul.
Is he one of the fellows Bill Billington mentioned to you he was looking at from Oshawa?
No, actually Buck Higgins was the one who asked me to have a look at him.
Well, he spread eagle there and covered up as the Diamond Sussex, your old gardener, the kid that used to do some gardening for you when he was little. He got the shot on there from the right point.
That was before I had to get a stepladder to look into his face.
Well, the puck goes to the Micmacs momentarily. If you just tuned in, this is Western Junior B hockey. The London Diamonds in white, Chatham Micmacs in red. Game just underway, so Jerry Mabry and I have a lot of thrilling action left for you. Stay tuned as Chatham excites us by going offside at the blue line.
Boy, they really nullified a good scoring play there, Paul. They had a 3-on-2, and the right winger was wide. Had the pass been able to get to him and he not gone offside, the defenseman would have really had to do some scrambling to get over there to cover him, which ought to have freed up a lane for the centerman to go right to the net.
Well, let's hope they do. You know, speaking of nets, I left my son Michael at halftime of his basketball game tonight, Jerry, to get here for the Diamonds game. So I want to say hello to Michael and all his friends on the YBC basketball team out of Dearness School. And they're doing a great job over there. The Diamonds are too as they come right in, and the shot was stopped on the short side off Derek LaBerge's stick. Now it's centered near the side of net. LaBerge with that long reach stuffed it in. What a goal. Boy, it helps to be tall, eh, Jerry, with those long arms, the way he could snake his stick to the far side there and poke it home.
Well, Paul, I'm really impressed with the way the Diamonds have come out to play this evening. I mean, They sure haven't left anything in the dressing room. Really seem to have a great deal of intensity, and of course with 18-21 they take a 1-0 lead in the hockey game.
Okay, 1-0 London. LeBerge with a goal, and the Micmacs, maybe that'll shock them into a little action. Dipsy Dooling to the line and over is Roche Durat. I guess if you were Le Canadien Français, you'd probably call him Rock. And Rock was stopped at the blue line. And back comes the pass. Diamonds have it. There's LeBerge. Oh, he's upended. Referee oblivious to that infraction, but the puck was given to LeBerge, and it bounced off the body there of Scott Hillman of Chatham almost into the goal. Now Chatham takes possession, left wing pass in their own zone. Trying to come out there was Gabriel, and he was stopped by Brooks forechecking. And so far the Diamonds have been the opportunists. They've been beating the Chatham team to the puck. Smith shot it in momentarily, and it deflected off his shin pad and came back. Nice pass there by Craig Dundas. Now it comes back to him. He tried to kick it a la Pele or Diego Maradona, and it didn't work. Chris Page, oh, he avoided the check there neatly. And Brooks makes his fake, comes out with a pass there to Dundas. He lumbers up a little bit to the Chatham line. Gallant is being hit by two players, but he's got such a low center of gravity, he's hard to knock over. Clearing pass there. Here's a breakaway now. Going right in for the Chatham Micmacs. And the save is made by Katsanis. The rebound came out. Katsanis made another save and another. And the puck loose in his crease. Oh, Ryan Korstein would like to have that one back, I'll tell you. He broke in. He was totally in the clear. And then Paul Pedinelli, another one of the Chatham players, had a wide open chance and he missed. You talked about the goaltender for Chatham, but our Diamonds guy came up big on that chance, Jerry. It looks like he's going to get another one. Back for Chatham is Gardner. Gardner goes right in. Sussex hog-tied him, but he wasn't caught doing that either. And the puck's deflected near the front of the net. And Brooks clears it into the crowd, and the fans scramble for that souvenir puck of the Diamonds. And I think they're going for quite a lot at card and memorabilia shops all over London. Diamonds pucks, Jerry.
Well, Paul, talking about cards, Bill Billington, of course, our Oshawa scout for this area, kind of did you a little bit of a favor this evening, didn't he?
Yes, Bill Billington. He and I go back many years from basketball, Jerry, and hopefully he'll be able to spend some time with us in this game, talking a little bit about the scouting business this year. But yes, I owe a great deal of thanks to Bill for favor rendered, and it was very kind of him to do that. And here come the Diamonds coming back to the Chatham line. Oh, he was draped in on the boards there, Jake Turner. And of course, I bet if he had $1 for every time anybody called him Jake the Snake, because of the way he slithers down that ice. There's the shot, another save by Katsanis. Off the stick there of Paul Pedinelli, and now they score, and a little bit of a fluke goal.
A ricochet.
Yep, a deflection off the side. Oh, a little hostility there.
I don't even know how that got in. That must have hit our defenseman in front of the net.
I think it did. I think it did. Well, maybe, I don't know. Here's the replay, Jerry, and we had to look at it real quick. Here it comes right out front. McLean Hunter crew right on that replay. Excellent job, camera crew. All right. Producer Earl Catchpole down the truck. I don't tell you, Jerry. You know, the Diamonds usually have this great caramel corn out here, and so they run this place first class. And producer Earl Catchpole, he brings in this crew, and they're first class too. Oh, right in front of the Chatham goal. Diamonds have another chance. The backhander was deflected there off the elbow of Ernie Loxton. And Ernie, our grinder from Northern Ontario, now he's stationed in the slot. So if anything hits him out there, it might deflect back in. Chatham making a good play there. Scott Hillman relayed the puck over there, and back they come over the line. Back checking there was Chris Page, and he put the stop on Serge Aumont. I'll tell you, these Chatham team, they must go far afield to get their players, Jerry. Got a veritable United Nations lineup here.
Paul, they do seem to be able to get a number of good players from the Blenheim area, Ridgetown, you know, a number of areas like that. And of course, Blenheim, West Lorne, some of those communities have been hockey hotbeds for years.
Last time I got a mild case of food poisoning about 23 years ago was in Blenheim, Jerry.
Ridgetown is another...
where you get food poisoning?
No, but you get a number of good hockey players down there.
I think we're going to get a few letters now coming out of that Kent County agricultural belt.
I'll send them to Paul McCary.
No. I'm getting enough fan mail already. All skulls and crossbones on it.
Right.
Back in the Chatham end they go. Jason Day with the puck for Chatham. It's a 1-1 tie here. Exciting Western Junior B hockey. And London Diamonds should have their hands full tonight with this Chatham team that ranks a fair bit above them in the standings. Trevor Gallant's backhand pass down there, and he's killing the penalty. The Diamonds have 1 minute 30 seconds left of it to kill, and there's 12 minutes 10 seconds remaining in the first period. Doing a good job there was Bruce Moselle, anticipating Granger. We looked at that check that Granger threw. The referee ducked in time. Now he looks back at the Diamonds player. He says, shoot him low from now on, buddy. Oh, interception right in front. Bruce Moselle, his backhander, just deflected by the goaltender. Trevor Gallant was actually wide open over in that side too, Jerry. Now, Trevor Gallant, lying down defenseless, took a bit of a dig, but he doesn't retaliate.
Well, Paul, two young ones out there killing that penalty, Bruce Moselle and Trevor Gallant. Of course, Trevor Gallant will probably be drafted this year by the OHL. He's I guess he'd be classified as an underage midget, so therefore he would have to be drafted in the first 3 rounds. But I believe everyone's expectations is that he definitely will be. Bruce Moselle is a full midget this year, so he can be drafted as well. He's played pretty well for the Diamonds.
Well, he has, Jerry, and he's rebounding a bit from a wrist injury, so we'll have to keep our eye on him tonight. Here's the Micmacs throwing the power play. It came right in front, and LeBerge fanned on it the first time. He couldn't get out the second time, but if at first you don't succeed, try again. And he did, and on this third effort, got it down the ice. So far, so good for the London Diamonds. They've only got 23 seconds left to be shorthanded. Chatham's dangerous, though. The pass over there on the right side, picked up by Scott Hillman behind the London goal. Chatham still with a puck. Back to the point now for Lucier, and he's a veteran player. The rebound, they score! And Katsanis made the first save, Jerry, but it came off the end boards and rebounded out in a weird direction, and the guy was right there all alone to fire it back home.
Well, Paul, he just didn't have enough time to react and get square to that Chatham Micmac right winger over there. And of course he one-timed it, which didn't allow him any time whatsoever to recover, and the puck was in the net before he could react.
And the Diamonds came very close. That's the frustrating thing, eh? They worked hard. Moselle and Gallant almost had a chance for a shorthanded goal earlier in the penalty, and they almost killed it off. Another 8 seconds, they would have been back to full strength. Chatham in the zone again. Oh, look at that strong forward shove off the checker. He's still shoving him off. That's Matt Saint-Germain, and he must have Le Gros Moselle.
Well, we're going to have penalties again here, Paul, by the looks of things. Looks like London going to be shorthanded again. These penalties could certainly hurt London in the early going here.
Well, Jerry, you see a guy come out in front like that, and we watch Chris Taylor, the London Knights. He's very adept at that move. What actually are the fundamentals of the forward who can put one hand on the stick and keep the checker away? Do you have to lean into him, or do you?
Yeah, you really do, especially, Paul, unless you're an Eric Lindros or somebody that is just so strong that you can literally do it, on your own. But But here, if you're some of these defensemen are certainly huge that little guys are leaning against, and they really have to get leverage and almost put their whole weight against them in order to equal up the balance.
When you do that, do you shorten up in the stick at all to get better puck control, or do you just try to keep your one hand right at the end?
Generally speaking, you have it on your backhand, which means that you can cradle it a little better than on your forehand. And I can remember Walt McKechnie. He used to be able to get a great shot away by just a little flick with his backhand, and he put it up over top of you when he came down on you. So you really had to watch him.
There's a name that London fans should remember. Walt McKechnie was a credible journeyman in the NHL for many years, and actually a couple of years he scored up close to 30 goals. I don't know what's become of him. I don't know if he's back in London or not.
No, Walter has a lodge and restaurant and bar up in the Muskoka region somewhere.
Well, the Chatham Micmacs, as the Diamonds have put themselves in a bit of a hole by accruing another penalty here. It's not going to be easy to beat Chatham even strength, but if London continues to put themselves in a hole and give this team power play advantages, that's going to make their task almost insurmountable. Micmacs across the line, the pass by Gabriel. It's in the side, now comes right to the goal crease area. Over by the face-off circle, you see them trying to move it there. Ryan Kelly got it behind the net. The defense is poised back here. That was a bad pass by Roch Dorat. He should have got it to the other point man, and it would have been okay. That one almost got free there to the Diamonds, and it's called puck hit with a high stick, but
Diamonds look pretty good with their penalty killing positioning, Paul. They're playing the box quite well. They're not overreacting. They're staying at home, not allowing anybody to penetrate that area in front of the net. Doing a pretty good job here. They've been unlucky.
Yeah, one goal especially, Jerry, you're right. Who had ever deflected off? And the fans could probably see it better than we could, thanks to the great work of the McLean Hunter camera crew. Now Chatham making the fake there, dishing it through. It's a 3-on-2. The drop pass got caught in the guy's skates. Oh, Ryan Korestein, he tried to make the fancy drop pass, and he passed it into his own skates. And the Diamonds said, thank you. There's an open ice check by London's Craig Dundas. Looked like it hurt him as much as the Chatham player, though. LeBerge comes in high. Boy, a guy that tall, it can be devastating with his elbows, Jerry, because his elbows are always right in other guy's face. Now Sean Smith makes the pass to Dundas. Dundas avoids a check. Micmacs keep it in. More pushing out near the blue line. Dundas has the defenseman's stick caught up, but penalty is now over, so the teams are back at full strength. The puck crosses the red line, and with 7:43 remaining in the first period, and Chatham ahead 2-1, we have another whistle.
Well, Paul, a lot of hockey played this weekend. Larry Morris's midget AAA team won the Silver Stick again. So that virtually means that there's a lot of great players coming up to feed these junior B teams around this area, and hopefully Kent Phipps will get out and get some of those players next year and really improve his hockey club.
Oh, save there by Kotsanis. Nice save. You talk about feeding, Jerry. I wish you wouldn't. I haven't had any supper yet. Just Diamond's caramel corn that I shared with you, and I just am looking so much forward to a Harvey burger or something of that nature after this game. That's the only thing wrong with the Fibs' sponsoring of this team, is they're a printing company as opposed to a restaurant. If they were a restaurant, we could probably hit them up for some free meals after we do these games. Anyway, the Micmacs have the puck in the corner. Gallant trying to get it for the Diamonds. Teams are at full strength. London down 1 goal. They've got to get something going here. But Chatham clears it back in, courtesy of Jason Day. I don't think he's related to Susan Day of the Partridge Family, Jerry. That was a show of your day, I imagine. Here's Sussex with the puck. Moving around. Sussex with a neat pass. I didn't think he was a finesse player like that, Jerry. I thought he just relied on brute size. Puck out to the left wing for the Diamonds, but they just can't get it past the red line right now.
I got those great hands from working the hedge clippers.
Oh, wonderful line. Wonderful line. Okay, that's right. Jerry, we have just been given one of the kindest offers that we've ever had in doing all the 10 years of Junior A and Junior B hockey and Senior A and Junior D, everything else we've done. The Phibbs family has offered to bring us pictures of food the next time we do a Junior B game. Well, thank you, Mrs. Phibbs. Chatham can't keep it in. Shad Smith, he was a little slow. And I wonder if that Shad Smith came from North Bay, because isn't that where shad flies are all summer?
Oh, it's going to be another one of those nights, is it, Paul?
Well, this
Lord have mercy.
Shad Smith, what can you say? Anybody that's ever been to North Bay knows it's famous for only two things, Bert Templeton and shad flies. Oh, and Marty Reynolds, I forgot about him. And Dick Dowdy.
Well, listen, there was another guy by the name of Randy Pryor that wasn't too shabby up there.
He was a pro wrestler, though, wasn't he, in the World Wrestling Federation?
No.
Well, the Diamonds are back. Granger and the assistant captain of the Diamonds pulls a Koravoian pass, cross ice diagonal. But the Diamonds came up with it. Jake Turner overskated it. A little contact there at the blue line, and Chatham takes over. Intercepted! Oh, and the referee ruled either a delayed offside or a high stick, and the faceoff's coming back over the Chatham blue line.
Paul, you know, we've talked about a number of times about momentum and how it switches from game to game, lots of times, period to period. And we've also talked about, even though a team kills a penalty and gets away without getting scored on it, quite often, though, that is the thing that turns the momentum around, because the other team gets so used to being on the offensive that, in fact, what happens is that offensive nature just carries on and that's what's happened here. The Diamonds actually had the better part of the play for the first part of the period. Took a couple of penalties, and now the momentum switched right around. Chatham's come on extraordinarily strong and seems to be dominating the play.
I wonder, too, Jerry, if another thing that's a factor in that is when you're killing a lot of penalties, or if you're on power plays even, there are a lot of players that don't see the ice in those situations that do on 5-on-5. And, you know, as you said, you kill a couple of penalties in a row, that's about 4, 5, 6 shifts for a forward line, and all of a sudden you got one guy in two lines, let's say two forwards, who haven't been on the ice in about 5 minutes. And
well, that's correct,
I
Paul.
think they settle into a very, you know, they stiffen up a little bit, and they get a little bit lethargic.
Their legs get heavy.
And it's too bad that happens.
Well, and thus, in minor hockey, they've gone to a lot of coincidental penalties so that to enable the boys that aren't taking penalties to play.
Speaking of minor hockey and these penalties and manpower, you've probably, with your son Lance, such a prolific scorer in Pee Wee hockey, I assume that you have seen some of these tournaments where if the here's a chance for LaBerge, and it was turned aside by Tanevsky very neatly. But we'll get back to that. I read of a tournament in Toronto where it went into one overtime. It remained tied. The second overtime it went into, after 1 minute, they cut down from 5 skaters to 4.
Yeah.
The next minute to 3 skaters.
Yeah, I've seen a tournament like that. We've been involved in one like that in Hamilton a few years ago.
Must be fascinating, because I guess this was a big Pee Wee tournament, and it was decided by the one-on-one.
Well, lots of times, too. I've seen a tournament, Paul, where they take the goaltender out.
Oh, wow. That would be wide open.
You play, first of all, without the goaltender. Then you play with 4 players, then with 3. And you're sitting there with a gaping net. I see London Knights' Greg Ryan standing here behind us.
Well, Greg Ryan getting a lot of ink lately. Somebody claiming he is the reincarnation of Jim Sprott. But I doubt that he could eat as many hamburgers as Jim Sprott, because I hear Jim Sprott was the hamburger king of the London Knights. Sean Basilio tells me that all Greg Ryan eats are donuts. Anyway, a heck of a shot there by the Micmacs, and it's tied
Good
up.
save,
And
yeah.
The London goaltender Katsanis has looked pretty good, Jerry. He reminds me a little bit of like when I used to watch you in the Intercity League out at Lambeth Arena. You had a quick glove hand like that.
Right. Not even going to talk about that. One thing I want to tell our audience to take note of is the goaltender for Chatham,
Tanevsky.
I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read this, but what soft pads he has. Did you notice that he hardly even leaves a rebound? I mean, he just gives with the shot, the rebound stays right in with him. Really soft pads.
Well, Trevor Gallant's going to get a shot on him here. Jerry, Gallant took a nosedive there as he was partially upended. The puck came right in front, and again it shot into the crowd. A cannonading blast there, but it went right into the spectators, and fans scramble for a Diamond souvenir puck.
Well, we were talking about, I was talking to Sean Basilio, who boards with me, about coming up here, and we thought we might do a little interview with him, but I guess he was too shy, so he sent over Greg. I guess Greg's going to do the interview.
Well, Greg, you've let yourself in for something here. It's when you get an interview done by Mr. Jerry Mabry, you are reaching the pinnacle of a player's journalistic experience. Chatham Micmacs, though, trying for the goal here. Out they come to the London line. But Chris Page got back and foiled that. Off the boards it goes. They can only get it to Gallant in scoring position. Brooks is going to try here. He turns and wheels, fires it in. Gallant skating there. Can they keep it in? They do. Momentarily at best. A floater to the blue line. Comes back to Sean Smith, one of the senior statesmen of the Diamonds. He returns it to the Chatham defenseman. And this team, they've done well here so far tonight, Jerry, but it's not the same as last year with Brian Wiseman. What a drag move there by Brooks. He got in front of Gallant. Gallant couldn't stop his momentum and bang it home. Smith kept it in. Gallant and his teammate Moselle are fighting for it. And Brooks shot it into the pads of the prostrate defenseman for the Micmacs. Back they come over the line, one-on-one. Nice fake there. And then the puck is shot into his carcass by his teammate there, Brady Blaine of the Brady Bunch, and the jam around didn't work. Dan Brown for the Diamonds coming back. Brown gathers a little speed. He tried to finesse his way into the hearts of the Junior A scouts there, but no cigar. Back comes Chatham. I'll tell you, they miss Brian Wiseman and Todd Warner, and even Perry Pappas, Jerry. He was in here the other night playing for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. So he was another one of that Legion of Doom from Chatham last year that spelled destruction to the Diamonds in so many nights. Here's Chatham in behind the net, relayed to the goal crease area. Kept it momentarily by Shad Smith from North Bay.
London running around a little bit in their own end right now, Paul, and they got in a little bit of trouble there.
Well, there's Jake Turner forechecking. Jake takes a run at his man, doesn't knock him down, bounced off him. Chatham tries to relay the puck there. Craig Ellis couldn't get it out, neither could Chris Page. To the side of the net it comes and slid in front, but Assistant Captain Granger made the first play. Now Chatham trying to set up again. Back to the blue line it comes. A little flip shot in there by Shad Smith, didn't go very far. Jake Turner tried to relay it ahead to Ian Ellis. He couldn't get anywhere. 1:26 to go here in the first period. Chatham Micmacs 2, London Diamonds 1, and Jake Turner ran into his own teammate there, Glenn McKinnon. That was probably one of the harder checks of the night. Glenn McKinnon tries to hit a Chatham player with little success. And here's the gardener, probably related to the Undertaker of the World Wrestling Federation. Aaron Sussex back there. Oh, he gets hit by two guys. Goes right through them. Shows a little bit of Byronian determination to do that. Now he hits his man. Puck comes back to Sussex. He avoids a high comer. I'll tell you, you see that hand and stick coming, you got to get down. Another guy that does that really well is Dave Anderson of the London Knights, Jerry. And guys try to check him. Anderson's got that beautiful little duck move where they go flying over him. And the puck back to Sean Smith with 26 seconds to go in the first period here. Diamonds turning at the Chatham line and over. And the shot off the pads of the defenseman, and Bruce Moselle couldn't get the rebound. Sean Smith got to the line and couldn't do anything. 12 seconds to go. Oh, the Micmac player falls just inside the London line. They keep it in though. Making the backhand pass was Serge Aumont. And the puck is frozen there at the boards as the buzzer goes. And looks like we've got another barn burner tonight, Jerry, I'll tell you. We've got a game here that probably a lot of people would enjoy being here in person, but as long as you're watching it in McLean Hunter, you've got the second best seat in the house. Mrs. Phibbs running out with the shots on goal. Quickly down to get a copy made for all the scouts in the crowd. And
well, Paul, a very, very good game, 2-1. I think Chatham were fortunate to be up. They had a couple of breaks. One came off the baseboard rebound, and the other one deflected in off one of the London defensemen. London, on the other hand, played very well towards the beginning of the hockey game, and then came on a little stronger in the latter part of the hockey game. So I would imagine going into the second period, London's got a little bit of momentum going. They may be able to equal this game up very soon in the second period.
Well, they came from behind last time we did our game here on cable TV, Jerry, to tie the St. Mary's Lincolns 4-4. And they won the game before that against Strathroy. So I think your words bear credence. Your judgment is almost always impeccable. And we'll return for that second period, Jerry and I, in just a minute. To this Western Junior B hockey game. The team's just returning to the ice. The Chatham Micmacs out here first. And they have a 2-1 lead going into the second period here at the Gardens. Western Junior B hockey on McLean Hunter, Cable 13. I'm Paul McCary. With me, my saddle partner, Jerry Mabry. And Jerry bedecked brightly tonight in his Birmingham Bulls jacket, reminiscent of the days when they began this underage signings, Jerry, with guys like Rob Ramage and Rick Vive and Gaston Gingras et al.
That's right.
And what,
Pat Riggin.
Yes, who's now making his mark in my business. He's driving Pacers now.
That's right. I was
what
talking to Patty when they retired Rob Ramage's sweater and Brad Marsh's sweater. He was here that day.
Well, we're just about lined up here to start the second period, so Diamonds have a one-goal deficit that they have to try to overcome. And later on in this second period, don't go away, because Jerry's going to be talking to Greg Ryan of the London Knights about their season. And as you all know, the London Knights are doing very, very well this year in the Ontario Hockey League, and they had a couple of tough losses on the weekend. The second one, they let a 4-1 lead dissipate. And, of course, the last one, they had to play the vaunted Oshawa Generals in 3 games and 3 nights. And I think even the Toronto Maple Leafs would have trouble with the Oshawa Generals, the 3rd game in 3 nights. So Greg Ryan will be talking to Jerry later in the second period. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, Ernie Loxton, he got it over the Micmacs line. He went in his gluteals for his troubles. But Ernie appears to be a sturdy, well-padded young man. He gets up quickly, and the puck goes all the way back to Kutsanis. He almost cleared it in the crowd. And in the OHL, that's an automatic minor. I don't know if it is in Junior B or not, Jerry. It is?
Yes, it is, Paul.
He was very fortunate then. He just escaped by a few inches. LeBerge deking and winding his way up there like the desert sidewinder. Cranks it up and shot it 10 feet wide of the open corner. He had all the time in the world. And back come the Micmacs here on Dan Brown. They get the shot. Good kick out there by Kutsanis. Off the stick of number 18 of the Micmacs, and somewhere around here, all this write-ups is the paper we need. Paul Pettinelli. And that Pettinelli has been dangerous all night for Chatham. Back come the Micmacs over the London line. They're being hooked, but getting it in the corner was Dan Gardner. Brown for London around here. He gets hammered for his troubles. Dundas gets it ahead. Good play by Craig Dundas to Trevor Gallant. Gallant lost it to defenseman Jason Day, got it across to his partner. Bad move there by Smith. Gallant backhanded it. Here's the chance, and the shot by Brooks was wide of the far side. Diamonds are getting a couple of chances here, Jerry. Icing's waved off. And they did have some good chances there. Couldn't make it pay off. Dan Brown, he shot it in as he was hit there at the sideboards by Ryan Korestein of Chatham. Gallant's behind the Chatham goal now. He passed it in front. Sean Smith was getting back to his defensive position and couldn't make the play. That shot up in the rafters, and the whistle goes with 17:37 to go in the second period. 2-1 Chatham, and Jerry, I guess you and our guest Greg Ryan are tuned right in, so take it away.
Well, Greg, out watching Junior B, that takes you back a couple of years, and you were playing Junior B in Burlington, Ontario.
Yeah, I played with the Burlington Cougars in Central Arena, downtown Burlington.
And Greg, I guess one thing I'd like to ask you, I don't know, we're having a little bit of audio problems here. Just a moment, Greg. We'll get this straightened around, and we'll talk to you shortly here.
Well, hopefully we can carry on with a play-by-play, and London Diamonds Granger shot it just wide. Sussex kept it in. In the corner it goes. The Micmacs having a little trouble getting it out now. Can Ed Novako do the job? Yes, Ed dumped it up here to Pettinelli. Back it goes to Korestein. Korestein's over the line. He looks. He passed it back too far for Ed Novako. And that pass was knocked down. Sussex backhander hit a skate. That's still in dangerous area there for the Diamonds. They want to get it out of there. Now it comes up to Ian Ellis, and Ian shoots it into the crowd. And it's now a souvenir for some lucky fans. So, Jerry, you go back to what you're asking Greg. I guess our audio problems are cleared up.
Well, Greg, one thing I wanted to ask you was if you could pass on to one thing to some of these young minor hockey defensemen that you've learned since coming to the OHL, what would that be? What's the one tip that you could give young defensemen?
One tip that I'd always like to pass on is that you always take the body, never even bother with the puck when it comes to the contact age, and the puck's secondary compared to the man.
Well, that's a good tip, Greg, and don't go away because we got a lot of other things we want to ask you too, but we'll start off with that as the Diamonds put a little pressure on here, and Tanevsky covers up as Derek LeBerge was right in the goal area, and if he hadn't been quick, the Diamonds might have knotted this score at 2-2.
Well, Greg, the Knights have had an unbelievable season so far this year. You've played extraordinarily well. Your division is so close. What do you think the prospects are for the Knights for the rest of the year? You got a real heavy schedule coming up, so what do you think the prospects are?
Well, I think coming down the stretch, we're going to have to really pick it up a lot, and we got a lot of games, and we're going to have to see how well we can pick it up on the road, because we're going to have to win the rest of our home games, it looks like, or win as many as we can. So.
Greg, do you consider, though, that first place is that vital to your team or any team in the M's division going into the playoffs?
Well, it all depends. If injuries do happen, the week or two off that you get with winning first place could come into hand, but it all depends on the injuries and stuff, but I don't feel it's that necessarily important to get first place.
Paul, we've noticed that a number of times in the last few years, the first place team has gone out very quickly, and lots of times it's a team that's in fourth or fifth position that gets the momentum rolling, and they end up snowballing everybody.
Well, it sure happened last year with the Niagara Falls Thunder. Their two superstars, Keith Primo and Brad May, really rose to the top. And that spelled the demise of the London Knights. And here's Trevor Gallant. He wants to have the demise of the Chatham Micmacs, and he's got to take matters in his own hands. Dumps it back to Brooks. Right in front, it comes to the crease area. They bang away at it. Oh, and Tanevsky covered up there as Brooks was right around the goal area, as well as Bruce Moselle. That was close call there, Jerry.
It certainly was. Greg, one other question I'd like to ask you. You've just come off 2 games in the last couple of weeks against everybody's number 1 pick for the NHL and the next superstar, Eric Lindros. What was your experience playing against him, and what do you think the biggest attribute that he has is?
No doubt his biggest attribute is definitely his size and his strength. He's got the incredible reach that he just can put one arm on the stick and hold you off with the other arm, and that's just phenomenal when you're trying to draped all over him, and he just pushes you off with one arm. But his quickness is also very, very, very quick, man, for someone that size, and that'll always be helpful in the NHL when he's going to be there, obviously, next year or the year after.
Well, I'll tell you, Greg, when I saw him here in London, he gets his shot away very, very quickly, and he's really got a heck of a wrist shot. I mean, toong, and it's in the net. Well, thanks, Greg, very much for being with us. We wish you success the rest of the year, and you say hello to your buddies over there on the other side. Who's over there with you? Basilio and
Purdy.
Purdy. Well, tell them they missed a bet not being up here with us. Good luck, Greg. Well, he's a heck of a nice young man there, Jerry, and it was good of him to come up here and spend some time with us.
Well, he lives at the Jalberts, Paul, and actually speaking, I've been around the London Knights for a number of years. I can't ever remember there being such an accumulation of such nice boys as there has been this year. I mean, not only are they good hockey players, but they're real nice boys.
Well, I know I have to agree with you, Jerry. I've been in the dressing room there, and, you know, Louis DeBrusque, he treats my son Michael and I just wonderfully. Mark Guy, Nick Stajduhar, Dave Anderson, and I kid Dave because I used to watch his father, George Anderson, play Junior B out here when he was the heartthrob of the team. And, you know, they are wonderful young men. And I know, you know, getting back to this game, we talked to Karen Phibbs up here that there's a lot of really, really nice young men on the Diamonds team, too, and a lot of them are hoping to further their hockey careers in university or junior A. And I think, again, we've always given Kent Phibbs and Karen a lot of credit in the past. I want to do it again tonight because, you know, without their efforts, and that effort there by Chatham just resulted in the goal. The rebound came off Katsanis' pads.
Well,
as
he
you
made
saw.
a great first save,
He
Paul.
sure did.
Great first save.
And we'll see it probably on the replay if we are fortunate enough to have captured that. But if we can't get the replay of it for you fans, I'll just finish off that comment. I think a lot of the people around London, you know, you really should be grateful that Kent Phibbs and his family have come forward with this Junior B team because they've really tried to give the boys a first-class arena to play in and a great experience for Junior B, for a boy to play Junior B hockey and then go on in the future. So our continued good wishes to the London Diamonds Junior B team, and now they've got a 2-goal deficit they got to overcome. LaBerge is in there in the corner. Look at him fight for that puck. But it goes back to Chatham on the left wing, and the Micmacs come over their own line to the red line. Going to the London line and over. There's a good move again. And I'll tell you, that gentleman has been, Serge Omont has looked good all night for Chatham. He throws a body check there at Derek Curtis. Doesn't do too much, though. There's a hard hit on Ernie Loxton. The puck's down the ice. Icing waved off, and Tanevsky has to leave it there for Shad Smith. Bounces right in the slot area. And that shot by LaBerge hit a defenseman's pads. Dan Brown cruised in. He couldn't get it. It went off a skate in front. And the Diamonds have had a couple of chances here, Jerry, in this middle part of the second period, and they've just missed. Now across the line, taking his shot right in the gut pad there of Katsanis. Now there's a little truculence exhibited down there. But that Omont had a good shift for Chatham, number 4, Jerry. He was right there all the time.
Well, Paul, basically the difference in this hockey game has been the Diamonds' inability to capitalize on their chances, and of course Chatham getting a couple of lucky breaks and the bounces going for them, and they taking the opportunity to capitalize on the opportunities they've had.
Well, we'll have to capitalize on some of them because 12:35 remains here in the second period.
Well, Paul, both games we've done before, the Diamonds have come back from certainly bigger deficits than this and have won both times in overtime, so I'm not counting them out at all. I've seen this. They made me a believer.
Oh, that last game especially, too, because they were down 4-0. Trevor Gallant got the pass back to Granger. Granger faked the shot over to Chris Page. He tried to one-time it, but that was good anticipation there by Matt St. Germain of Chatham as he saw the pass coming and got a piece of it. Trevor Gallant again avoids the check, couldn't do much with it. And Trevor hasn't been as dominant tonight, I'll tell you, Jerry, as he was against the St. Mary's Lincolns in that 4-4 tie. So if people are here to watch him, he's got to do a little more to get their eye in this game anyway. Look at the bulldogging act there. It looks to me like Bruce Moselt's been watching Hacksaw Jim Duggan. What a centering pass there, and a great save by Kotsanis off the stick of Rock Durrett. Now there's one that I'm sure Durrett would like to have back. To the blue line it comes. Another shot's blocked by Brooks. Can he outskate the Chatham defenseman Day? You know, Day hauls him down. The referee doesn't call anything. Oh, wow. I can't believe it, Jerry. That was a blatant trip, and the guy seemed oblivious to it. The Diamonds should be on the power play. What do you do when you're a player and something like that happens? How do you keep your cool when a guy blows an obvious trip like that?
Well, it's very difficult, Paul, and of course it's more difficult to understand that the younger you are. So 9 times out of 10 what happens is the individual retaliates and he ends up getting the penalty.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, teams are at full strength here. 11 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the second period. Chatham 3, London 1. To the line and over for London is McKinnon. McKinnon's trying to get the pass. He's holding the defender off. Great play by Glenn McKinnon. Sussex pinches. He's in the corner. Jake Turner comes back to fill the point for him, but the puck didn't get there. Rock Durrett turns for Chatham. Went right in front of his own goal. Got the pass up ahead here to Kelly. Kelly relayed it across the London line to Gabriel. Gabriel is hit there by Smith. I'll say one thing about this Chatham team, though, Jerry. You know, I've seen some Diamonds players hit them hard and really lean on them, and they don't go down. They seem to be very strong on their skates. They're hard to put down.
Well, the referee just got a penalty, gave a penalty to London for hooking to
Jake Turner.
Yes, Jake Turner, and that certainly wasn't as obvious as the one he let go on the Chatham player. However, hey, it's all in the eyes of the beholder, I guess. In any event, London will have to play a man short here for 2 minutes, and of course, Chatham have a bunch of fancy little forwards, Paul. That's what I noticed. And the other thing is they really crisscross when they hit the blue line, the London blue line. They're going every which way, and I think it's very difficult for these defensemen to try and keep track of them all.
Well, there was a heck of a shot that Dan Brown of the Diamonds blocked and knocked in the corner. A long cross-ice pass. Comes back here to Lucier. That time the Diamonds defender didn't move fast enough. Granger. He didn't anticipate the play soon enough, Jerry, and the Micmacs almost got their 4th goal. Granger just threw the stick of the Chatham player back near the blue line. The referee didn't call him for that. He probably feels guilty that he called the London penalty in the first place. Wheeling and dealing now for Chatham is Lucier. His pass almost intercepted. Granger falls down. Looks like he lost an edge in his skate there. That's over the London line. Look out! I thought the way he was winding up there, Jerry was going to shoot it right up at us.
Well, you're lucky you got an old goaltender sitting beside you, Paul.
Hey, I've counted my lucky stars that you're sitting beside me many times, old-timer. Back to the line it comes and over, so the Diamonds only have 50 seconds left in the penalty to Jake Turner to kill.
I could probably show you how to get out of the way of it quicker than anybody else in the stands here.
I didn't think you were going to duck out of the way. I thought you were going to snake up that old glove hand and save me. Well, Jerry, another legend sort of comes to fruition, I guess, Thursday night when Pete Morningstar, veteran high school mentor, is feted by his friends. And I did a game on cable TV with Pete about 7 years ago, the championship game of the high school football playoffs. And yes, he's a man with a tremendous sense of humor and a real twinkle in his eye. Now Katsanis is out of there, and the Chatham player showed a lot of restraint there.
Now, Paul, that's a penalty for a goaltender to hold the puck behind the goal line. Did you know that? And he didn't call it.
Now.
Yeah, a goaltender, in order to hold the puck, he has to have some part of his body on this side of the line, on the open net side of the goal line that goes across. So
well,
they dodged an arrow there.
Thank you. You're never going to be one that sticks to convention, eh? They dodged an arrow. Wayne Jacklin, the Chatham coach, didn't seem too upset about that either. Trevor Gallant trying to get to it. It's a big pile up in the crease there. Katsanis was knocked flat.
Well, he made a great save considering the traffic that was in front of him and on top of him in that crease area. You know, I think, to be quite honest with you, Paul, we really have to get back to the referees calling these players being in the crease. I mean, I don't understand what they have the crease for if they're going to continually allow players to go into the crease and pummel the goaltender. I mean, it's hard enough to stop the puck coming at 94 miles an hour like McGinnis shoots it without having some 6'4" guy standing all over you.
And, of course, the forwards are very cute about that, too, Jerry. You know, they'll let a defenseman ride him in near there, but they'll accelerate right at the end. And, of course, the referee can't call anything because the defenseman is pushing them. Here's the long shot. Katsanis made a great save, and Derek Curtis just shot it down the ice. But, like on that play, the forward and the defenseman are tied up, and they're heading into the goal. But I'll tell you, there aren't many forwards that slow down or try to back the defenseman away. They just use it as an excuse to just go right into that net.
Well, and everyone begrudges the way that a fellow like Hextall plays for the Philadelphia Flyers because he literally slashes them and chops them and everything else. But when you see things like that, you can understand it. I mean, how else is he going to protect himself? The referee won't protect him.
Yeah,
the rules are there to protect him. Why don't they call it? And, of course, ever since they have the magnets, now it's just open season. Before, they used to have a little bit of trouble when they ran into the net. Now the net comes off so easily, the forwards are more than happy to run the goaltender.
That's right. Yep. Bruce Moselle making his move. He couldn't get it past center ice. His pass there to Dundas was way wide. Now Moselle with a little deke. He tried to go around the defense. He was held. He drew the penalty. And now the Diamonds are going to go in the power play. And Karen Phibbs lets out a sigh, saying it's about time we had a power play. If you heard her fans in the background, she claims that she's trying not to scream up here. And that's because she's sitting next to color man Jerry Mabry.
I see Coach Gary Agnew of the London Knights now and Mike Kelly in the stands looking at some of these players, obviously getting ready for next spring's draft.
Well, we'll give Gary Agnew the thumbs down sign for that weekend trip. He should have stayed home, and as John Tanner recommended, mail him the 2 points. There's the puck bouncing crazily. Diamonds Granger. Back it goes to Brown. He made the deke. Got it to Trevor Gallant. So the Diamonds contain the puck. Here it comes right from the side. They try to smash it home, and they do. Brooks scores off the feed there from LeBerge.
Nice goal. Well set up, Paul. Of course, that's a very important goal. Gets the Diamonds right back in the hockey game with 7:43 left in the period. And, of course, Didn't take them very long to capitalize on that last Chatham penalty.
That's what they need. You're absolutely right, Jerry, to borrow a line from somebody else I know. No, it's to be absolutely honest with you, Paul, or something of that nature. But this will help. Now it's a 3-2 game. The Diamonds against the high-flying Chatham Micmacs. Dundas can't get to the puck for London, and it's gobbled up by Chatham's Rock Durant. His pass intercepted. Granger leads a 3-on-2. Granger shoots it. High off the glass. Into the corner it goes. Gallant and Moselle were there, but Chatham comes away with it. Streaking down that left side, Serge Aumont in there against Page. Aumont and Page bang together, and Page gets it to Moselle. Moselle took a heck of a hit, but he got the puck ahead to Dundas. Dundas going one-on-one here. He's got a lot of time. Tried to feed it to Trevor Gallant. He was checked neatly over there by Ed Navaco, the veteran Junior B player for the Chatham team. This is Ed's third year in Chatham. Puck goes all the way down the ice. Linesman waved it off. Dundas goes after. His man can't hit him. Bruce Moselle took a hit in the corner. He's trying to fish the puck out. Couldn't do it. Oh, right in front of giveaway to Dundas. And he wound up and took the slapper instead of finding the corner of the wrist shot. Now there's a high stick. Bruce Moselle is fencing over there with a Chatham player. And that game takes a truculent turn here, Jerry.
Well, I understand there was a lot of that last night, Paul, and these teams really are getting so they don't like one another very much. I don't think there's been that much of a rivalry in the past between London and Chatham, but for some reason things got out of hand last evening. And as the game gets a little closer, it's starting to liven up with regards to the truculence that you mention so often. Here, this referee better get control. One of the things that I've noticed about him tonight, he's not very consistent in what he's calling. Minor things, then major things let go, then a major thing's called. You know, I think most hockey teams can handle anything as long as it's consistent. But if you have inconsistency, that's a bit of a problem to handle. You never know what you're going to be called for or what you're not going to be called for.
Well, you know, Jerry, the Diamonds have some upcoming home games here against the St. Thomas Stars in January the 24th, and they're coached by an old basketball teammate of mine, Paul Cook, and he's done quite well in the hockey world, which he got into quite late in life, actually, after his basketball career was over. But St. Thomas was in first place there. I think they still are. So Cookie will be here on the 24th. You fans get out and see that game. The St. Thomas Stars, London Diamonds, right in front. What a goal that was. Boy. Centering pass.
What a play.
Pedinelli there. Now he's scored earlier for Chatham. He's really been a thorn in the Diamond side, and he centered that out and looked like Gardner cutting in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
On his backhand with one hand. You know, the defenseman had him tied up pretty well, but I can always remember Mike Bossy saying, let them tie my body up, let them tie my legs up, but always try and keep your arms loose so that you can maneuver and shoot the puck.
Well, that was a shorthanded goal too, Jerry. That's exactly what London didn't want, because nothing can take the wind out of your sails faster than a shorthanded goal when you've got the man advantage. Jeremy Brooks' long blast, but Gallant was way offside over on the right wing. 8:19 left, period number 2. Western Junior B Hockey on McLean Hunter Cable 13. Earl Catchpole family production here at the Gardens.
Well, Paul, again, the Diamonds execute the same sort of power play that most teams do now. They flip-flop their wingers so that the wingers can one-time the puck should they get the opportunity, and also so that they have a better angle to shoot at when they're in the offensive zone.
Dan Brown carrying the puck quickly for London. Gallant couldn't handle his pass, but LeBerge does. LeBerge, Stickel's right in front, and it was tipped there by the Chatham defenseman Lucier, and it's called being hit with a high stick. The face-off should stay in the Chatham zone. LeBerge has looked good here, Jerry. Of course, we were covering the Diamonds game the night he was acquired from Strathroy. And
He was traded for Hunt, wasn't he, if I remember correctly?
Yes. It was just a contrast in styles and what the teams needed from what we understood. Strathroy needed a bit of more of a grinder and muscle player, and the Diamonds needed that rangy stick-handling centerman, and LeBarge has done well.
Actually speaking, every time we've been in here, he's played extraordinarily well.
That's right. Well, Brooks backhanded to Trevor Gallant. Trevor Gallant comes out from behind the net. LeBarge went to the front. Granger gets the pass to the point. His wrist shot. He was actually trying to pass it through there to Brooks. Brooks passed it to Brown. Nice deflection by Gallant right off the post. Tough luck. The goaltender's best friend did in Trevor Gallant there. Gallant's pass to Granger. He shoots. The puck was rolling on its side. Brown kept it in there. Chatham players hustling for it. Diamonds, can't they dig it out? No, and it's cleared by Pedinelli there of Chatham. Back to Brown of London. 27 seconds to go. Nice pass up here to Brooks. Fires it in the far corner. LeBarge is there. Rolling puck. Gallant's there. Pokes it in front. Oh, Tanevsky came up with that one and dished it off to his defenseman. Big Sussex stops at the line. Nice shot by Aaron Sussex. It slid through. The Diamonds score. That's what they needed. Brooks took the rebound there, and Tanevsky was down. He thought he had it.
Well, that's Brooks' second goal, almost a replica of the first goal he got, Paul. He's surely Johnny on the spot around that net. I understand why he's now the leading goal scorer. The puck seems to follow him around. He seems to be able to get in the open, and he's going to have a great year if he keeps shooting into empty nets like that.
Well, you know, they did have the defenseman leaning on Trevor Gallant there, and he got the shot, and that was a nice play, too, by Moselle. So it's a 4-3 game now, and the Diamonds are really hanging tough against Chatham. Puck in the center ice zone. London brings it back in, courtesy of Glenn McKinnon. Dished it off to Sussex. His pass on the right wing, they couldn't get it. Now McKinnon, offside over on the right side. McKinnon pulls the trigger a little late, but it was clearly offside.
Paul, I think the Diamonds have improved an awful lot since the last time we were out here. I really do. I'm very much impressed with the effort that they're putting forth tonight, and with a few more breaks, they could have been leading this hockey game.
Well, Bruce Moselle, he won the draw. Ernie Loxton made a good play to get it back to Sussex. His shot into the corner, bounced off the boards to Sean Smith. Tanevsky came way out of his net. Referee makes him play it, and he does. Nice pass there by Kelly of the Chatham team. Cutting right in on goal, there's Durrett. Durrett's shot was stopped by Katsanis. London's going to get a penalty here for hooking. Boy, that Rock Durrett moved in nicely there and maintained control of the puck, Jerry.
Great set of wheels. Great set of wheels. And I think the London defenseman got caught watching the puck. And, of course, in our interview with Greg Ryan, the thing he said was, take the man. Never mind the puck. Take the man. No matter what, take the man. I don't know how many times coaches have reiterated that over the years, but certainly I know Coach Bill Warren that coaches my son's hockey club is always preaching that to his defensemen for them to take the man. Sometimes it's hard to do. You get somebody that's really slick with the puck and handles it and what have you. You almost get mesmerized watching it.
That's right. Another point you made earlier, Jerry, that I just noticed there, that hard shot from the point hit the pads of the goaltender Katsanis there, and wow, it went crang, almost like it hit a little foam rubber there, and it bounced out about 15 feet in the rebound. And you had talked earlier about this Tanevsky's pads seem to be really sort of mushy, and he doesn't give away a lot of big rebounds.
Well, the reason for that is he's not rigid when the puck comes. He gives with the puck, Paul. He kind of gives with the puck when it comes to him, and as a result, the puck stays in. Lots of times, if you're tense or rigid and you're firm and you don't give with the puck, you get these rebounds.
Well, you know, you mentioned earlier too, Jerry, about coaches in hockey always telling their players, play the man, not the puck, and they, you know, a lot of times they don't, but it's the same in football. How many times does a coach in football tell his kickoff or punt return guys, don't block from the rear. Don't clip. Don't clip. And yet how many times in a football game do you see a call made for blocking from the rear? It's just uncanny how players need to be reinforced time after time after time.
Well, lots of times, Paul, in the heat of action, it's a reaction rather than any sort of thought process. And sometimes when the players are really cerebral and have their thought process with them all the time, they're able to keep from doing those types of things.
Is that going to be a minor?
No, I think they're claiming that it went off another stick. Actually, they're lucky. Probably had that been full strength, that would have been a penalty, but that's a pretty bad penalty call on somebody with a man already short.
That's right. Yeah, it was a close call, though. But it's true, here comes the shot from the point. He cranked it up one time that he tried to fool him with a changeup. I don't think I've ever seen that. The guy, instead of shooting it hard, shot a changeup at the London goal. Chatham still with a puck here, keeping it in. Lucier and Hillman are back on the points. Here's the pass, and it was a beauty. What a setup there from Jamie Lucier, using his experience well. He slid it right across, and it was poked home, and it looked like Pedinelli cutting across. But what a setup by Jamie Lucier.
Well, Paul, there isn't much that the London goaltender could do with that play. I mean, he had to come out and cut the angle down, which he did, and then the defenseman kind of sets him by looking like he's going to give a slap shot and then passes off to the winger coming from the corner that should have been covered by the defenseman and wasn't.
So the score now, the Chatham Micmacs 5, London Diamonds 3. 2.5 minutes left in the second period. But don't you fans go away, because if you've been with Jerry and I before, you've seen the Diamonds come back. Here they are walking right in. And Glenn McKinnon looked like he got his hand clocked there. Oh, he's hurt a little bit, but boy, he almost walked right in with total control of the puck. He just let it roll off when he got hooked or slashed.
Chatham's getting a penalty too for that, Paul. So here's an opportunity for the Diamonds to get back into this. They'll have a 2-minute penalty coming up with 2 minutes and 19 seconds left. Be nice if they could get that goal back and just go in the dressing room with only a 1-goal deficit.
And you and I have often talked about, and so have many other hockey pundits, Jerry, about this scoring in the last minute of play in a period. It's really an emotional upper or downer depending on what side of the fence you're looking on when the goal's scored. Dan Brown made his pass to Gallant just a little too far. That was offside. Brown tried to sort of glove it ahead, but he couldn't fool the astute linesman covering it from this side.
I like that Brown number 4, Paul. I think he's got great potential to play in the Junior A loop too. I really do. I don't know if he can play as a defenseman, but he certainly can play. He's a little small for a defenseman nowadays,
right. One just has to look at the trouble that Knight's Kelly Reed has been having. I mean,
and what a set of skills he has.
Exactly. Marvelous skater and makes some good passes, but boy, you got to have the strength to play. I'll tell you a guy who really surprises me for strength is Nick Stajduhar. Geez, he's just the youngest guy in the OHL, and he just turned 16, and yet, he makes some takeouts against awfully big forwards, and he can't be more than 150 pounds.
He's pretty tall, though. He gets a lot of leverage on them. I'll tell you, he and Fiju have played extraordinarily well for the Knights for rookies. That's the other thing, you have to look at Gary Agnew has played a lot of his rookies this year, and I think what's going to happen when they come into the playoffs now, those rookies are going to be almost seasoned veterans because they've played so much. There's a bad giveaway there, Paul.
Certainly was, and I think that was Brown that made that one. He didn't see the Chatham players changing on the go, and the forward came off the bench and was given the puck courtesy of the London defense. Here's Brown now cranking up, shoots in the corner. Gallant anticipated well. Gallant flips it behind him in the corner here, takes it back. LaBerge. Now that was a smart play by LaBerge to let it go to Gallant there, so you got to give him credit too. And some things the Diamonds do is some of them, especially people like Gallant and LaBerge, and at times Bruce Moselle, play awfully well without the puck. And I think that's a big thing, Jerry, because if you look at 60 minutes in a hockey game, and if you had the same 10 skaters skating all the time, each guy would get the puck about 6 minutes out of a 60-minute game. So I think one of the keys to being an excellent player is to know what to do defensively and to know what to do without the puck when your team is in possession.
Well, that's what they always say, Paul, that you have to know what you're doing without the hockey puck, and know where you're going and what have you. All the real good players, though, have one thing in common. They have great anticipation of what's going to happen out there.
Well, Chatham, they're trying to finish off the period here. There's only 14 seconds to go. But unfortunately, that was a bit of an uncerebral play by Scott Hillman, and that faceoff's going to come back deep in the Chatham zone. And unfortunately, there's 14 seconds left. I figure if there was only 4 seconds left, Kent Phibbs might pull the goalie down here and go with 6 attackers and a face-off in the Chatham end. From the draw, Moselle poked it ahead. It came back. It was too high for Sean Smith to keep in, but it did go into the crowd. So the Diamonds are going to get another chance at it here, and if they can win this one, they might get a good shot off. Now the referee is going to take that chance away from them a bit, ruling it went off one of their sticks. No, the linesman overrules them. Does anybody know what the left hand is doing?
Certainly not the right.
What did you say, Mr. Costello? Who's on first? Anyway, Bruce Moselle, it's in his skates, but it was drawn neatly back there by Chatham's Dan Gardner. And the Micmacs have killed the second period with a good face-off by Gardner there. And there it is, end of 2. 5 for the Chatham Micmacs and 3 for the London Diamonds. And I don't know, Jerry, I think that this game, the way it looks now, is that Chatham gets the goals that they need to forge a bit of a lead, and then they get a little bit lax, and London takes advantage of that opportunity and creeps back into the game, but they just don't seem to be able tonight to have enough to forge a tie or go into the lead.
Well, Paul, I think the biggest difference in that period that we just watched was that shorthanded goal that Chatham scored. Had they not scored that goal, that was a little bit of a backbreaker, even though London came back very quickly and rebounded and got the goal back in the same penalty. Had they got the goal without giving up one, that would have drawn them even, and of course it would have been a different hockey game altogether.
Very good point, Jerry, and maybe they will get back to that tying or go-ahead status that we hope they will. So don't go away, fans. Jerry and I will be back with the exciting third period of the Diamonds game in just a minute. Well, back we are here, fans, for the third period of this Junior B tilt between the Chatham Micmacs and the London Diamonds. As usual, Chatham first back on the ice here, freshly flooded by the Gardens maintenance crew. And Jerry Mabry, the London Diamonds have a big task ahead of them to overcome this 2-goal deficit. And I think they're going to find it a pretty tough sled.
Well, Paul, I think the goal that is scored first in this period is going to be the most important most important goal of the game. How's that? Is that a good prediction?
Jerry, your assessments ring true time after time. Actually, your assessment is probably fairer than that of the London Municipal Tax Department. I'll tell you that right now.
Boy, if Ed Sullivan only had comedians around like you, he'd have never gone out of business, would he?
Yeah, Topo Gigio. What did he need me for? Little mouse will beat a big rat any day.
There you go. Diamond's just coming back on the ice now, Paul. Won't be long and we'll have the third period underway. No, in all seriousness though, Paul, the next goal is a big goal. Of course, if the Diamonds get it, they move within one goal and right back in the hockey game. If Chatham gets it, that's a 3-goal bulge, and of course, it almost makes it
insurmountable.
Right. Very similar to what the Buffalo Bills did yesterday to the Raiders. They literally blew them out in the first quarter.
You know, I saw that game when it was 3-3, just the Raiders got their field goal, and I turned it off to, I was writing a newspaper article for a hockey periodical on the OHL London Knights, and when I phoned, I believe it was you I phoned at work, or at home. I phoned you at home, and you got on the phone and you told me you were watching the game, and it was 31-3 at that time. I couldn't believe it. So things happen quickly in sports, and the London Diamonds hope that it happens quickly here for them, but not down at that end of the ice, as Katsanis has to cover up again. And, you know, in spite of the fact that 5 goals have been scored here for Chatham, Jerry, I think goaltender Katsanis has played reasonably well tonight.
Yeah, he's very good at making the first save, Paul. If anything I would fault him on would be lots of times he's out of position to make the second save. He has a tendency for some reason or other to get down and get out of the play, but he's extraordinarily good at making the first save.
Sean Smith for the Diamonds rifles it in off Tanevsky's stick, bounces past Brooks. Here's a bit of a one-on-one, and this is their leading scorer, Omot. He backhanded it near the net, and Katsanis kicked that out. And again, that's Serge Omot. Now the Diamonds have a player injured over there. It was the defenseman Brown who tried to ride Omot down, and he ended up getting the worst of that, Jerry.
Denny!
He's hobbling around a little. The fans are screaming here, and you hear them in the background, a couple of leather lungs yelling across to some of their friends on the far side. But anyway, Jerry, that Omot, he's the leading scorer there for Chatham. He has 19 goals and 30 assists for 49 points, which is 3 points more than Trevor Gallant has. And, of course, Trevor is our London Diamonds leading scorer. Face-off going to be in the London zone here. And that's Omot going to take it for Chatham. Glenn McKinnon moves in there for London. Omot beat him to the draw. Nice shot from the point by Jamie Lucier. It wasn't wide by much. Back it goes. Micmacs in their own zone. And here comes Serge Omot again. He's over the line. Made the fake around Aaron Sussex. Takes the right. Tried to stuff it in front. It went through the crease. There's a shot. Taken by the defenseman. And Ian Ellis got his stick up at the Chatham defenseman Lucier there. Ian Ellis back for the pass to McKinnon. He couldn't get there in time. McKinnon and Omot battle for it. And back comes Chatham in the London zone, but there's 4 Diamonds and only 1 Micmac. Ryan Korstein couldn't get very far, and the Chatham team changes on the fly. Ian Ellis for the Diamonds to McKinnon. McKinnon dumped it off to Ian Ellis. It was tipped high to Sussex. Sussex faked his shot, took a ride into the boards there. That seemed to make him flinch just a little bit. Puck being brought out here, kept in by Brown. That didn't get by the long reach of Shad Smith. And the old Shad fly in there battling the Diamonds player Loxton. Loxton gave his man a high comber. Granger pinches. Looks like there's a broken stick on the ice. Diamonds keep it in. McKinnon cranked it up, and it went off the shin pads of Jason Day. Now, Ian Ellis took a body check. Granger's shot 15 feet wide of the far corner from the blue line. Ian Ellis tipped it right out front and went through everybody. Katsanis is going to get to that way ahead of the Chatham forward. Dumps it back out. Micmacs in possession at their own line. Back to the face-off circle. Over it comes here to Smith. Smith made a nice pass. Getting it ahead there to Gabriel. Gabriel slid it right in front. And the one-hand deflection taken there by Durant was just wide of the post, or Chatham would have had that 3-goal cushion you talked about, Jerry.
Well, Paul, got penalties coming up here. Look like they're going to be coincidental. So the teams will play 5 aside in all probability.
Well, 17:25 remains in the third period. And this game has been a lot different from the one the other night in Chatham. And I'll tell you, fans, with St. Thomas coming in here in the 24th, and Windsor, the Bulldogs, are here in the 28th, and they're coached by an ex-London hockey player, and actually one of the few guys to ever play Major Junior A from the Little Hamburg of Dorian, Ontario, up near Thunder Bay and the Wolf River Campground. And that was Vern Stenlin, Jerry. And Vern, of course, he grew up in Dorian, which is between Hurkett and Thunder Bay. And Vern's coaching down there in Windsor, and his team is doing pretty well. They're right up there with Sarnia and St. Thomas in the upper echelon of the league.
Well, Vern was a player agent for a while too, Paul.
That's right. And, of course, he played here with the London Knights for 3 good years. He centered a line with a fellow who went on to play in the NHL for a few years, a guy you might remember with a heck of a shot, Tom Rowe. And Vern Stenlin was Tom Rowe's center man with the London Knights. Looks like a timeout's been called here, Jerry, and teams are over talking strategy. Diamond's down there with Kent Phibbs, and the Micmacs will cross the way with Wayne Jacklin. And it looks to me like a good time in the game to take a little bit of a brief respite. Teams are certainly doing that.
Well, Paul, we can't urge the people to come out and support this team. It is a wonderful opportunity that is here for the London boys to further their hockey career after they leave minor hockey. And you know, the only way they can do that, of course, is if fans come out and support them at the box office so they can continue to provide this excellent facility and team situation for these boys. So, gosh, if you can get out and support them in some of these upcoming games, by all means do so, and you won't be disappointed with the brand of hockey you're getting here, too.
Round behind the goal it goes, and Tanevsky plays it over on the right side. Now Chatham trying to mount an attack here. Pedinelli played it across in a slot. That shot was high off the stick of John Etherington. Now a high comer attempted by Sean Smith. He got away with it. Long blast from Ernie Loxton. Tanevsky had no trouble with that. Ernie carries on trying to make the body check. Didn't work. Sean Smith gets to the puck ahead of Pedinelli of Chatham. Played it across to Chris Page, his partner. Back to Smith. Back to Page. Now there's a whistle, and I didn't see anything there, Jerry, but I think we're going to get double minors again, and your tap on the shoulder is reassuring as always. And I guess Jerry, joining Jerry now and myself in the booth here, another one of the London Knights out scouting prospects for the future, young Denny Purdy, who used to play with the Chatham team.
Well, that's right, Paul. Denny, this is your old team a couple of years ago, and you're back here. Obviously, there must be a lot of players still playing on this team that you played with.
Yeah, well, they've really gone for a youth movement. There's only about 3 or 4 players that have played with me now, but they're the older guys on the team, and I guess they're there for a little bit of guidance with the younger guys.
Well, also, Denny, I'd like to congratulate you. Both Paul and I feel really good about you being selected to the OHL All-Star team. That's really a feather in your cap. My gosh, you must be really proud of that accomplishment.
Yeah, well, I was kind of disappointed when I didn't get asked to the World Junior Tournament for tryouts and that, but I guess this is just a lucky break for me to prove myself to to the NHL scouts, and I guess I'm just gonna have to take full advantage of my opportunities.
Well, Paul or Denny, when we had Greg Ryan up in the second period, I asked him of the number one tip that he could pass on to youngsters that he's learned since coming to the OHL. I'm going to ask you the same thing. You're becoming a prolific scorer with the Knights. Of one little tip that you could pass on to right wingers that are coming up, what would that be?
I guess it would have to be the most important thing is to when you get the puck in the slot, shoot from wherever you come from, because the goalie's always when you're coming across the slot, the goalie's always going to be following you, and it's going to be hard for him to move his feet going back the other way. So I guess that's the biggest help I've had this year so far.
Well, that must have been a great philosopher that taught you that one. Paul, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, probably some guy that used to board Peter Eng and board Sean Basilio. Okay, Denny, thank you very much. That's a wonderful tip there. And
listen, lots of luck in the OHL game. There'll be a lot of scouts down there. We know you're going to do it.
Thanks a lot.
You're playing great. You really are.
And tell them that Chris Taylor and Louis DeBrusk should have been there too, eh?
Should have been a line. All three of us.
Good luck, Denny. Good luck. Thank you. Well, the Diamonds have crept back, as you fans well saw there, with Denny Purdy coming up to talk to us for a while. And again, he used to play for the Chatham Micmacs, so he's got quite an affinity for the Western Junior B. But Bruce Moselle scored a great goal for London, and if the monitors weren't quite clear enough to show it was the opportunist, Bruce Moselle. He's had some good shifts for London tonight. Of course, we often joke about his lineage, and I'll tell you, nobody's prouder of his exploits here than his dad, and his dad doesn't miss games out here. I'll tell you, I'll give Joe Moselle all the credit in the world. He comes to support his boy, and it's just wonderful to see. So Bruce Moselle scored there for the Diamonds, and then Trevor Gallant on a rush down there just missed the tip-in as he was tied up by the defense. There's a shot by Ian Ellis wide of the net. You also saw Dan Brown get crushed down in the Chatham end on a heavy body check. Dan got up and hobbled his way back to the London bench, but I'll tell you, he felt it. There's a bad play by Ian Ellis. He gave the puck away, and Corristine for Chatham shoots it into the corner. It bounced off Serge Omont, couldn't handle it. Diamond's turn. 14:26 to go. Third period. 5-4. Chatham, the rebound came free. And Derek LeBears just wasn't quite there, but if he had been about 3 strides closer, he would have had a wide open net to bang the rebound in.
Well, Paul, this is anybody's hockey game now. That was an important goal, as we said at the outset of the third period. And the momentum has definitely turned a little bit in London's favor. They seem to have a jump in the step right now, and they're really taking it to Chatham.
Puck in the Chatham zone. Here's Dundas. He got his weak wrist shot off. Brooks is there first. He didn't play it to the point. He dropped it in behind. Dundas ran his man, got it the better of the deal. Puck back to Granger. A quick shot. It was low and right on. That's the way you got to shoot him, Bobby, all the time. Low and right on the net, and we'll get the deflections. Good interception there by Curtis of the Diamonds. Up ahead they come. Brooks picks it up. They're double shifting him there. He's on with Curtis and Dundas. Brooks around. He jammed it in near the front. Curtis couldn't shove it home. Micmacs cleared up into center. I'll tell you, that number 10, Sean Gabriel, he's very lucky because his defenseman there gave him a concussion pass, Jerry. He had to look back for it diagonally, and that's when you can really get hurt. I'll tell you, Greg Ryan or somebody of that ilk would have just sent him to the hospital, but he got away with it. Now the Diamonds are pressing. What a play there by Trevor Gallant. Good effort. He jammed it free of the goalie's glove. Chatham, though, comes back. Rock Durrett, backhand pass. Comes in front. Nobody's there but Derek Curtis of the Diamonds. He plays it down the ice. That's going to be icing. But I think he wanted to get off. Curtis was on a long shift there, Jerry, and he hasn't seen a lot of ice time in the game, so I think he was a little tired.
Yeah, they really needed a change there, Paul. Well, 12:37 left, 5-4, Chatham leading London, Paul, and London have come close on a number of occasions already on this period. This could have been a tie hockey game. I'm really impressed again with the Chatham goaltender. Boy, he stays square, the shooter, and he's always in a position to take the next shot. He's really played well. I don't think any of the goals that have gone in on him could be faulted to him.
Well, Bruce Moselt made a pass up there to Chris Page, but Chris is given a rough ride in there. He was held and given a facial massage, and it wasn't any esthetician that gave it to him there. It was a Chatham defenseman. It should have been called. You see those highlights last night on the Sports Beat show out of Detroit and that lacrosse, Jerry. Oh boy, sometimes hockey games get rough, but I remember taking lacrosse and phys ed in high school, and there's a game that can really get brutal. Here's the Micmacs, and the shot rolls 3. Ooh, a little bit of trip up there. Dan Brown's down on the ice again, and he's had a rough third period, Jerry. He got crushed there about 7 minutes ago down in the by the end boards, and he just got upended there, so I hope he's wearing good equipment. Oh, Jerry. That cues me in. Equipment, ex-goaltender. Have you had any opportunity to see these new helmets that Sean Basilio and the OHL guys are being fitted for, these new suspension helmets?
No, I haven't, Paul. I know that Sean and Brent are very, very excited about their opportunity to get it. Trainer Don Brankley, of course, has arranged for them to get these new face masks, and of course, that's all Sean's been talking about for some while now, is the fact that he's going to have one of these all painted up. And like the fella said that makes them, the paint job is almost as important as the fit.
It's weird, though, isn't it? But I noticed he took the suspension principle out of football helmets. Of course, from coaching the London Beefeaters for a number of years, the old suspension football helmets are not in use anymore for football, and it's sort of an interesting concept. I can see how it would work in hockey much more safely and much better than it would in football, where you actually, the head takes impact. Here, it's the puck hitting the helmet. So it should be interesting. Micmacs back over the line. Sean Smith just got there in time. No offside. Pass hits a stick. Ian Ellis couldn't make the play for London, and it rolls back to Lucier. He gets across to his defense partner. That's a 2-line offside, but not called as Granger came up to get. Oh, the Diamonds Loxton almost ran into his own man, McKinnon. Luckily, he missed at the last second. Tanevsky's way out of his goal here. London Diamonds, Ellis couldn't do anything with it. There's 10 minutes, 54 seconds left. As Jerry Mabry's told you, there's a giveaway. Granger with a wrist shot. What an effort by Bob Granger, Jerry. Falling as he was being tripped. He got a hard wrist shot off at the goal. Derek Curtis plays it ahead. Now there's high sticking going on over here. Sean Smith involved with Aaron Dark of Chatham, and the referee saw the light and called the play.
No, Paul, looks like there's only one penalty on the play. That's again a retaliatory type penalty, and he missed the original infraction on the Chatham player and just caught the London player. That happens quite often. Of course, this is a difficult time for London to go into the penalty killing mode again. We talked about that a little earlier in the telecast, that you just can't get into this defensive mode and then expect to explode out of it if you kill the penalty off and get into an offensive mode.
That's right. The only thing that can pull you into that is a shorthanded goal. Now, Chatham scored one earlier in this game, and that's their margin of lead right now. So the Diamonds, they have to watch this prolific scoring machine, but they also would love to jump on an opportunity to score. There's a shot right on. Oh, Chatham forward's given a rough ride in the crease, and now Chris Page pokes away at him, and that was left for Mario Katsanis to come up with a big save for the Diamonds. Have a note here, Oaks Notes. Oh, right, from Oak Ridge. That's the one we read before. Jerry and I want to tell you people too, if you have any requests for dedications, some short time spans in the game, and there's a little bit of quiet time, you can send them to Earl Catchpole at McLean Hunter, and we'll try to get your requests on the air for you. Now Omont for Chatham. He's got the puck. Their leading point scorer got it ahead on the right wing there to Etherington. Etherington cut around the defense. Page just misjudged his speed, I guess, and Etherington fanned in his pass, and LaBerge played it down the ice. Back to get it, Dan Gardner. Gardner over there. Etherington's knocked over, and he backhanded it foolishly right to Chris Page, who shot it to the defenseman Lucier. Lucier, it's left there. Now the Diamonds have a chance. Here's Page. Over to the boards it goes. Page played it ahead, and Curtis chases it. Curtis, the defenseman for Chatham, just sort of gutted out there, Scott Hillman, and let the London forechecker come right in, but then LaBerge lost it to Lucier, and Lucier starts away. 45 seconds left, and the penalty to the Diamonds. Lucier drops it back here. Gardner with the shot. Over on the far side, and went to pass in the corner instead. Etherington, he's to the circle, he lost it there. Page spears away at it. Etherington gave him a shot to the head. That wasn't called either. Now the shot by Lucier, and he's got a good one. That's knocked down by a high stick, but London plays it first, so it's not called. But Jerry in the crease, Katsanis is writhing in pain.
Yeah, he got hit up around the neck area when he tried to make that save on the rebound. And I'm not sure he didn't get stick right across the neck area, Paul. He made two good saves there, really good saves.
Yeah, it looked from this viewpoint that the Chatham player got his stick up to deflect the shot. Maybe it was that player that caught him with the stick.
Well, we just saw it there on the replay, Paul, and you can see that it was up around the neck area, that he might have been an elbow. But in any event, he's still laying prone on the ice there. He's moving a little bit now, and I think he'll be all right.
Well, the trainer out there to try to give him some relief, and it would be unfortunate if he couldn't continue, because 5-4 game with 8:57 left in the third period and 20 seconds left in your penalty. You don't want to have to put in your sub-goalie, who's been sitting stiff on the bench for the most of the game. We see Trevor McKenney down there gesticulating at Katsanis to get up, please get up. Well, we have seen some good goaltending tonight, though, Jerry, and some excellent passing. This Serge Omont, the leading scorer for Chatham, has looked pretty good, too. He's had a lot of the play down at the other end. Lucier, of course, but then Lucier's a 18 or 19-year-old. He should look good after about 3 years in the league. Trevor Gallant hasn't seemed to have had the impact in this game.
Doesn't seem to have the jump in his stride that he normally does. He's played well, but he's not been the awesome force to deal with that quite often he is.
It's funny too. It's you mentioned earlier about the draft and things like that, and these Junior B players. In the All-Star game, I was happy to hear the announcers talk about Steve Smith, who played here with the London Knights for many years, and he had a broken leg, and he was overlooked at the draft, and he hadn't played the year before for almost 90% of the year, and so he wasn't drafted by anybody. And of course the leg healed, and he was back ready. In the summer, he went to a tryout camp at Guelph that was run at Guelph University, and scouts came down to look at kids that, thought they might have a chance, and the Knights got Steve Smith, and he later became their captain. And now he's playing with the Edmonton Oilers. So it's an interesting situation. You can get to the professional leagues in many ways, but...
Well, Paul, a lot of times I think Brett Hall's a great example of that. many people had just given him up for as being a lost cause. Certainly in junior, I mean, one of his buddies had to coax him to come out and play junior hockey.
There's a heck of a shot. Katsanis makes 2 saves after bravely getting himself up off the canvas. 8 seconds to go in the Chatham power play. They get it across here. Days faked his shot, passed it in the circle. Gallant knocked his man off the puck neatly. Now the Diamonds are back to full strength, and Brown rushes the puck up, shoots it in, avoids the body check. It's left there in the end. Sean Smith couldn't get his man, and back comes Chatham. Left winger was open here, but Gallant gave him a cross check as he came across the line. Gallant playing a little more physical now. Puck in the slot in front. Nice pass. Right in on goal there for Chatham went Gabriel, and he was just hooked at the last second. Couldn't get his shot off. Granger now, he wants to sojourn into the Chatham. Oh, he's hit high, head up, and his shot went on goal. The defense cleared down the ice. This guy's onside. That's Gabriel. He had a man in front. Here it comes, the shot. Katsanis knocked that out. 7:48 to go. Diamonds must tie this game up. Left here for Gallant. Gallant makes a nice move right in on goal. He scored.
What a goal.
Oh, that one was the one. I hope the scouts didn't go home, because as you and I mentioned, he hadn't really been the dominant player until he seized on the opportunity. And boy, that teaches me something about him, because you know, a guy that can do that can have a so-so average type of game and not play the way he normally does.
Here it is here, right up in the top corner, Paul. Boy, oh boy, what a goal.
And the way he had to turn his arm back and almost, you know, put it on the backhand with one arm high, that was an awesome play. And that's what you come to see. If a kid can come up big in that type of situation when his team really needs him, even though he's not having the greatest of games. Yep, Trevor Gallant, we've always been in his corner and on his side, but I hope he made a lot of other scouts believers with that goal. Here's Chatham. Lucier, he played with it for a while, shot it down the ice. So now London's got 2 goals from Brooks, 1 from Moselle, 1 from LeBerge, and 1 from Gallant. And it's a 5-5 tie, 7:07 left to go, and that's the type of airplane, so I hope the Diamonds are going to fly high from here and get a few more goals. Let's send these guys back to Union Gas City without the 2 points. And Katsanis dives in the puck there in the crease, and he has another player fall over him. I'll tell you, Jerry, this poor kid, he's going to need a whirlpool when he gets home.
Well, it's sure been the most dangerous spot has been in the London crease down there. There's no question about that. One thing that the London goaltender does extraordinarily well is the way he covers the puck with a stick behind the puck and the glove over top holding it, Paul. Someone has really worked a long time with him to school him on some of those fundamentals, and he's played extraordinarily well. He's made a lot of good saves here tonight. I'd have to say that if we were picking one of the stars tonight, he definitely would be up there for consideration.
He has faced, I believe, more shots and more dangerous shots than Tanevsky, the highly rated youngster for Chatham. Here's Derek Curtis going one-on-one with Lucier. Curtis dropped it back. LeBerge wasn't there in time, but Dan Brown kept it in. Good play by Dan Brown there, too. And he's had a rough third period, been on the receiving end of a lot of physical play. Over the line it goes, icing called, face-off back in the Chatham end. This is what we need, Diamonds, keep it up. Well, those scouts are getting their money's worth tonight, and we see our friend Buck Higgins over on the far side talking to some parents, hopefully trying to sign up some future young star into his stable of clients. Buck, a player agent now, working out of the Don Meehan group in Toronto. LeBerge with a shot. Tanevsky handled that rather calmly. Puck over in the sideboards. LeBerge is going to get there first again. He can't find the point man. Dan Brown is somehow pinched over in the center. LeBerge drops out to Curtis. And he didn't get much of that shot, Jerry. It looked like one that I'd taken in the Elderton District League about 10 years ago. LeBerge tried to pass it out. It's right in the crease. Tanevsky covers up, and just to finish off what I was saying, I'll tell you, Jerry, if I ever had a child who was a talented hockey player, I don't think there's a nicer man that I'd want him to be affiliated with as an agent than Buck Higgins.
Well, Buck's Denny Purdy is, of course, with Buck, the young London Knights star that we just talked to, and so is Sean Basilio. He represents quite a few of the London Knights.
Well, again, as I reiterate, he was a very honest, kind man. I'd had many dealings with him. Boy, the Diamonds came close there. Oh, Trevor Gallant just took a shot to the head. And he's mixing it up, and unfortunately, the scouts will give him full marks there. If that is him, 19, it could be Derek Curtis, number 9. I just saw the number in a flash. It's Derek Curtis. No, it's Gallant, isn't it, Jerry?
Yes, the unfortunate part is he's probably one of the most...
5 minutes.
Being as he's the top scorer, I think it'll only be 2 minutes, Paul. But it takes Trevor off the ice, and the Diamonds can't afford to have him off the ice because he's one of the ones that's most apt to score in this situation. Not a bad move on Chatham's part.
Not bad at all. Yes, sir. It looked like they realized that he had wakened, the giant had wakened from a little bit of sleep. But, you know, the Diamonds still have Brooks out there, the sniper, and Bruce Moselt, who's had a good goal tonight and a nice effort. Ian Ellis coming out to take Gallant's spot. Bruce Moselt went to center. Chris Page's shot was deflected by the Chatham defenseman. Almost went in his own net. Granger kept it in. Good play. Here's Moselt's shot. That was deflected. There it is. Oh, what a save. Ian Ellis right at the crease, Jerry.
Unbelievable. We've seen just about everything here tonight, haven't we?
I don't know.
As per usual.
I don't know how he... Well, we just talked about it. The scouts had gone home early. They missed a hell of a move by Trevor Gallant, a magician move. And they did the same thing there because we talked about Katsanis for the Diamonds having the tougher shots. But that Tanevsky just kept his team tied in this game with a great save there. Now Chatham back, a long hard blast taken there from the blue line by Kelly, Ryan Kelly of the Chatham team, and it was gobbled up and held by Katsanis.
Well, seems every game we do here, Paul, it ends up being a tremendous hockey game and a very close hockey game. Both the other games we've participated in have gone to overtime, and boy, this one's looking like it could get that way as well.
That's for sure.
Certainly none of the fans on hand have left this one as yet.
No, they haven't. Not at all. And again, please support the London Diamonds. A nice bunch of young men and a good organization. They've been around the city for many years, given many local boys the opportunity to play high caliber hockey. Here's the pass. Loxton took a hit, but he came off that hit. Ernie's wheeling and dealing now. Going to the sideboard, just barreling his way in. That's one thing about Ernie. He's awful tough on the boards. But Chatham came up with a pass. And there's a chance, too. Dan Brown, if he had anticipated just a little bit earlier, he could have reefed that forward, number 9, for Chatham into the middle of next week. Lucier speared Ernie a little bit there, but it only got his sweater and not his body. Nobody called it. Glenn McKinnon trying to wheel and deal, couldn't make his move. Then he hits the Chatham forward. Ernie Loxton wants to come off for a breather. He earned it. A good shift for Ernie Loxton there. There's a nice play ahead by Dan Brown to LeBerge. Back to Dan Brown. He hasn't got the angle, unfortunately. Everything going for him but the angle. Look at Etherington gain a little ground there, and Smith. Smith's pass too far for Derek Curtis. 4 minutes, 14 seconds left. 5-5 tie here. An excellent game. Here's Chatham on a breakaway. Gardner, the veteran, right in. Oh, Katsanis saved. He was helped out there. Dan Brown got back. Here's a shot wide open in the slot. Katsanis again made the save. And the rebound just bounced over the stick of another Chatham forward. cruising in, and that was the dangerous Pedinelli there, number 18, and he's had a good game too for the Micmacs. Diamonds full value though tonight. They've come back again. They were down 5-3 and they made it a 5-5 tie here. You got to be proud of this squad, I'll tell you, the way they never give up. It's a tremendous thing to see how they just don't let anything get them down, and they realize it's not over till it's over. Chatham trying to move out. The pass up by Ed Navaco. Got it ahead. Pedinelli couldn't catch up to it. Back to Navaco. Hit his skate. Diamonds, two forwards. Brooks couldn't play there with Dundas. Over the line they come. Etherington tried to slip it to Pedinelli. There's a bad penalty. Derek Curtis just took a bad penalty in front as he horse-collared the forward, Dan Gardner, and the puck wasn't even there, Jerry. He just hauled him down, and Diamonds are going to go into the last 3 minutes of the game short-handed.
Well, yeah, that's really going to put them behind the 8 ball here, because actually they've had the most part of the play in the last few minutes again. In fact, they've had most part of the play for this whole period. It would be a shame if they lost it on a penalty like that. That was totally unnecessary, especially when you take into consideration where the puck was. The puck was way off,
That's right,
away from the front of the net, over on the far side, and that's called a no-brainer, Paul.
Well, we like to refer to it as being an uncerebral penalty, Jerry. Just look at LeBerge's flip shot there, trying to catch Tanevsky unaware. Almost did, actually. Here's the pass across. Now, 2:35 to go in the game, 1:35 in the London penalty, so if they happen to kill it, they'll be lucky to here with Serge Aumont getting the puck ahead. In there for it goes Durrett. Durrett ran into Katsanis. He should be called. Katsanis is down. He could hardly get up. He was hit in the back of the head. He's upset at the referee, and he has, good reason to be. This gentleman, and I use the term very loosely, obviously wishing to get to the coffee shop for a coffee after the game, disregarded that. And he was run into, Jerry, and hit with an elbow or a high stick at the back of the head, knocked over. I can't believe that wasn't called. 49 seconds to go here in the penalty. Dan Brown over there trying to check the Chatham player. LeBerge fell down. He has to get back up. That hit a stick in front. Chris Page is being hooked and held, everything. Now Page gets the puck, can't get it past. Turning for Chatham, getting out in front is Durrett. To the point it comes. Nice save by Katsanis. He's got to get up, though. Chris Page just took a punch in the head. This must be a double here, I guess, Jerry.
Looks like it, Paul. Well, it's unfortunate. This referee's missed a good game tonight. However.
Well, that's going to hurt, too, because with the earlier penalty, that puts us into this famous 4-on-3 situation.
Well, I think that's a coincidental, Paul, so I don't think it'll change anything.
That's good. I hope so, because you'd hate to see it go 4-on-3. If they get both of them off, then that's okay. It won't hurt us, but...
You know, one thing we've often talked about, especially when we're doing Junior A, is we just never seem to know when it's coincidental and when it isn't. I have never had anybody be able to give me some sort of a description on when it is coincidental and when it isn't.
Sometimes two guys get penalties and you see it's 5-on-5, and then two guys get penalties. Next time it's 4-on-4.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I don't know what the rule is, and I've asked coaches, I've asked general managers, I've asked referees, and no one has a clear definition of just what it is.
Well, we have another guest in the press box here coming to see us, and boy, he couldn't have come at a more exciting time with a face-off. Bill Billington, scout for the Oshawa Generals, and a man who's been in hockey for many years and has a son playing pro hockey. Craig Billington, famous NHL AHL goaltender. So, Bill, you want to talk to Jerry about a few things here?
Bill, Craig's now playing for the Olympic team. How's he enjoying that?
Great experience. Craig's an academic, and Dave King is very academic oriented, so he's really enjoyed the overseas trips, and they're just getting ready, hopefully, to go back overseas. But the world situation being the way it is, they may not be going.
Bill, there's a number of young players playing this hockey game. Obviously, some of them have some pretty good potential for the OHL, and obviously the Oshawa Generals. Tell me who has impressed you here this evening.
Well, young Brady Blaine is a fine young player, very strong for Chatham. Trevor Glantz played well, works hard all the time, got a nice goal tonight. Young Brownie plays very well. He's really improved since the beginning of the year for London, and I think he's really done a good job. Aaron Sussex is like a sleeping giant, ready to blossom out, and I just think he needs time to grow and be exposed to hockey at this level. So, those are some of the good London kids.
He's come a long way when you take into consideration that he was playing AA hockey a few years ago.
Oh, just excellent. And Aaron just needs the time and needs a little more confidence in himself that when he makes a mistake, that's all part of the game. And he seems very hesitant at times about making that mistake.
Well, both you and I do an awful lot of goaltender clinics. Tell me what you think of the goaltenders here this evening.
Well, the young lad from London has been a pleasant surprise, done extremely well, and young Finney from Chatham stepping in place of Wilkinson has played quite well. They being thrust into it as young Finney has been a pleasant surprise, and I know Wayne Jacquelin's very, very happy.
Wow, the Micmacs with 2 seconds to go in the third period, and they couldn't make it count. The game ends in another overtime situation, and Jerry Mabry, we have him here all the time. McLean Hunter 3 for 3 overtime, Western Junior B hockey. So you, Bill, go ahead till the players get ready for this overtime soon to come.
Bill, your Oshawa Generals are having a wonderful year, and of course everybody knows the big trade with Eric Lindros last year has certainly paid dividends over and over. I guess you play to sellout crowds all the time. He really is a wonderful talent, and boy, I think that he is going to literally make one of those franchises that choose him this year in the draft.
He's a credit to the OHL, and I think teams have to remember that everywhere he goes, the buildings are filled, and it had been a shame if he hadn't been able to show his talents in this league. And the night that he was here, I think he put on a great display, an excellent London Night Hockey Club, and a great Oshawa team, and that's what hockey's all about.
Well, when you take into consideration the shadowing he gets, and he's still able to walk out in most evenings with certainly 3 or 4 points, it really is amazing, because I doubt there's any other hockey player in the OHL that gets the attention he does from other opponents.
And to control himself the way he does. I guess last night, he's a dominant force again, and used his body well, and also put the puck in the net, and that was great. We're really happy for the Generals, and I think for the OHL to see those types of things happen.
Well, thanks, Bill, and continued good luck to you and all your exploits around the league and your scouting. You're sure getting a good workout tonight, because this game is seesawed back and forth, and the Diamonds have the puck in their zone now. Chatham trying to get a shot. They're going to. They walk in. It's in front of the goal, knocked down by a high stick by Brooks, and that's called, and we've got 4:02 left in this overtime, and boy, oh boy, this is a tight one.
Bill, let me ask you one other question, too. You've probably been around a number of the different areas of hockey in Ontario and in somewhat into the United States. Right now, who do you think is the best choice for the first pick overall for the junior draft next year?
I have a leaning towards young Chris Grattan in Brantford. He's a big lad at about 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds, left center. just a fine player. Plays the game both ways, strong in both ends, reads the ice well. I wouldn't be surprised. There are a lot of teams that will be looking at him very, very strongly.
Well, there's Derek Curtis for the Diamonds. Speaking of guys, teams are looking at Granger's shot right into the goal. Bruce Moselle is draped down there, and there's a guy that we're hoping, Bill, for his sake, he's worked hard that he might get a shot. He can go in any round. Here's Pedinelli for Chatham. He can do it in the wraparound. It's right in the crease. Holy mackerel, that was close call there as Pedinelli came in, Jerry, and almost got a goal, and now there's some pushing and shoving around
the net's
there.
off the moorings, Paul, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. Bill, of course, you people won't really have an opportunity for him because you're going to end up so high in the standings that
you're going to draft one position below London.
We're hoping. We're hoping that's where we'll be.
Wouldn't that be neat to be see Oshawa and London in the finals this year?
It's saving my mileage.
You better say that again, Bill. I don't think the fans heard you.
It'll save my mileage if London and Oshawa meet in the playoffs. I'm sure our management will appreciate that sort of thing. Should make mention tonight that Eddie Navaco for Chatham is one of our draft picks, and we're really pleased with the way he's come along. He had a rough training camp, came back and is doing well, and we're looking forward to taking Eddie back to camp with us, and we're going to take him down on a Saturday and let him skate with us in the next week and a half. So it's really nice. This is a top quality league.
Well, there's the puck in the London zone here. 2:53, a poke check. Brooks got a little fancy, then he passed it back in front of his own net. Oh, Captain Brooks there took a couple of chances. Looks like he was in Las Vegas dealing faro. Here comes Brooks, though, in the offense. One-hand shovel pass. Didn't get through there to Ernie Loxton. Back in the blue line, Chris Page's shot deflected. Oh, just missed a corner. They try to jam it in. No success. It's still loose. What hectic action. And then Ernie Loxton puts a late elbow into the moof there of Shad Smith, the guy from North Bay, the Shad Fly.
Well, certainly London, for being an 8th place team, played a lot better than that this evening.
Certainly have, and this London club is not to be counted out come playoff time. How many times have we seen in the past the team, struggle to get into the playoffs, work hard, and then all of a sudden put it all together? And Kent Phibbs has done a really good job. I think people have to forget to give him a lot of credit for the time and effort. Here's a businessman who's got a great business going, and he spends a lot of time with these people, and Kent deserves a lot of credit, and for his sake, I hope the kids can put it together playoff time.
Well, not only that, but it is a first-class operation and gives the kids a real opportunity to further their career, certainly the London kids.
Oh, very much so, and whether or not they decide to, play OHL, whether they go to college, but just to play the game. And really, isn't that what it's all about, whether you're a youngster or playing old-timers hockey. Here's where a lot of it got started, and that's what it's all about.
Well, the other thing is these memories will live on forever. Quite often the memories get embellished somewhat as you get older, and but
Paul knows all about embellishment at an older age.
I'll get a little truculent with you if you keep tossing around those big words, you guys.
Bill, thanks very much for being with us. We really appreciate your thoughts and your points of view.
Good, thanks very much.
Good luck, Bill, and thanks again for the favor you did me, which goes unmentioned, but I appreciate it. Okay, in behind the Chatham goal, the Micmacs with possession of the puck. The Diamonds have Gallant out there. It's loose in the slot. Oh, Derek Curtis tried to get the pass and went off the skate there of Ed Navaco that Bill Billington just talked about. And it's a pleasure to hear how well his son Craig is doing with the national team. Here's Dan Brown. Get it ahead, Dan. Trevor Gallant's got the puck in the Chatham zone. He doesn't have any help. Pulls up. Flipped it near the goal. Bruce Moselt's cruising there. And the goaltender makes the play. Trevor Gallant's centering pass was intercepted. Chris Page tries to make the play. He gave it everything he had. Etherington was so quick. And right in front is Pettinelli, that dangerous forward for Chatham, but the pass was way too far behind him. And the Micmacs, Jason Day, shot in the crowd. 1:47 to go in this overtime. And London hockey fans and McLean Hunter, Cable 13, can producer Earl Catchpole and our announcers here ever pick the games to bring you, eh? 3 in a row, and they've all been overtime thrillers that have you on the edge of your chair.
Boy, and both teams have had excellent opportunities to score in the overtime period as well, Paul.
Absolutely, Jerry.
Well, it's been a nice evening. We've had 3 real nice guests and a wonderful hockey game to boot, Paul.
Well, there was a gathering of the clan down there at the penalty box. No penalties, so I imagine he was checking on either timeouts or time left and whether the clock was keeping the proper time, something of that ilk. Ernie Loxton getting some rest now as the big offensive group is out there for London with Gallant, Brooks, and Derek LeBerge.
Minute and 3 seconds, Paul. They'll probably go for the whole time frame that's left here with this shift.
Well, they've got Ryan Kelly, Chatham does, out there at center, and he's one of their defensive centers, but there's a partial break there for Sean Gabriel. Right in front it comes, and it was rolling. Kelly couldn't play it. Kotsanis covers up smartly. Now they're pushing and shoving in the corner. Kelly was punching away there at Chris Page, and I'll give Chris a lot of credit there, Jerry. I think they were trying to, maybe they thought he was Gallant. They were trying to egg him into a penalty, and he stayed cool and stayed out of the penalty box, I believe.
Well, I don't know if he did or not, Paul. There's certainly one penalty coming up. It looks like, yes, I guess you're right. Looks like Chatham, no, they're both getting penalties. The London player must have got a penalty for receiving because he certainly didn't do anything from an offensive point of view.
No, he tried to stay cool and not have that happen. Somehow through the face shield he got cut. Well, anyway, if they're both off, as you have often used the word, Jerry, it'll be coincidental. And again, our thanks to Greg Ryan, Denny Purdy, and Bill Billington, our guests in the press box tonight. 2 young hockey players of tremendous class and ability, and an OHL scout who I've known for at least 20 years, and also a man of tremendous goodness and integrity, and he's doing a heck of a job scouting the young players for Oshawa. Omont got the draw for Chatham, got it back to blue line. They try to get in the slot. Omont's cruising. Don't let him get the puck. He kicked it free. What a save by Kotsanis. It's in Brown's pads. It's loose. Now they gobble it up. Oh, they let that Omont walk in there, Jerry, and that guy's almost deadly on the offensive end. I think Dan Brown for the Diamonds did one heck of a job there, covering up, taking a man out, and sort of blocking the shovel in.
Well, there were a lot of Diamonds there grouped in front of the net trying to help the London goalie keep the puck out. I was afraid that the goaltender wouldn't be able to see it with all those people, and that it might squib through
That'd be a tough way to see it go in.
that scrum in front of the net.
I remember saying this last game, I'd hate to see either team lose in that St. Mary's London game, and I feel the same way tonight. I think Diamonds, have played so well against a team that's up near the top, and you just hate to see anything happen here. Now, I could handle Chatham losing, though, but not London. Puck free to Gallant. He used his skates to control it. Now he comes back over to the open side. Slid a nice pass up there. LeBerge over to Brooks. Brooks is trying to wait for his players to get into the play. I think Dan Brown's going to get a shot here, Jerry. And he cranked it high. It bounced free, hit the side of the net off LeBerge's stick. Now it rolls all the way down the ice with 7 seconds to go. Waved off. I have a strange feeling that this one is going to end in a tie. The Micmacs get over the line, but there's no time left. And there you have it, as Gallant a little bit upset there with defenseman Lucier of Chatham. But boy, oh boy, congratulations to you and the Diamonds, I think, on one heck of a game here tonight. They were down 5-3, Jerry. They came back to tie it. 2 goals from Jeremy Brooks. Derek LeBerge got a goal. And Trevor Gallant got a great goal. They spread it around a little bit, but boy, the players they count on really came to the fore tonight. They sure did.
Well, it was a wonderful game. I wish more people could have been out here to witness it live. Again, we can't say enough about the type of hockey that's being played out here in the Western Junior B. And gosh, let's urge all these fans to get out here and take this in. Certainly when the playoffs come, there's some real good games coming up in the not too distant future. January 24th, we have St. Thomas in here. January 28th, Windsor. February 4th, Petrolia. February 11th, Strathroy, and February 18th, St. Thomas. So get out here and support the London Diamonds. It really is a good caliber of hockey. You'll see the future stars of the OHL and possibly the future stars of the NHL here in this league.
Well, hopefully, too, the future stars of TSN are also here covering the London Diamonds Junior B team. And that February the 18th game against St. Thomas will be our next McLean Hunter game. So on behalf of Jerry Mabry, our producer Earl Catchpole, all the great camera crew, Paul McCary wishing you good night, good hockey.
This is proof. In all my years of teaching driving, probably the first and most common mistake people make is how they sit in the car. So let me show you how the pros do it. Once you're in the car, the first adjustment is the seat. Determine the right seat placement by putting your feet right on the pedals. You have to be close enough to get the full use of them. On a manual transmission car, that means pressing the clutch all the way in and still having a little bend left in your knee. You shouldn't have to lift off the seat to operate the clutch. With an automatic, you should be able to put your right foot on the floor behind the brake pedal and still have that same bend at the knee. Now, plant your right heel so that you can pivot your foot back and forth between the brake and the gas without lifting your heel. Put your hands on the wheel just about shoulder height. Your arms should be a little bent. If you have an adjustable seat back, move it until you can sit like this with your arms bent. Here's how to tell if you're seated properly. Turn the steering wheel almost a half a turn in each direction. If you can do that without your shoulders lifting off the seat back, you're in the right position. Now, the seat belt. Your mirrors are the best defense against surprises from behind or surprises from the side. They must be properly adjusted before you drive away. So set the rear view mirror to frame the entire rear window. The side view mirrors are exactly that. Traditionally, they are set so that you can just see the sides of your own car in the corners of the mirrors. However, when was the last time the sides of your own car came up and hit you? Now, what if you set them further out? Now your range of side vision has increased dramatically to the point where vehicles move out of your side view mirrors and into your peripheral vision. Have you ever noticed how people hold a steering wheel? Our survey has uncovered some fascinating styles. Next time you're driving, watch how some people hold the steering wheel. It can tell you a lot about your fellow drivers. Now here's one you see all the time, the praying mantis. Both hands are in the wrong place, right on top of the steering wheel. This is another common one, the limp wrist. People try this with either hand. Here's the casual cruiser. Left elbow on the windowsill and probably steering with 2 fingers. Not much control there. How about the bicycle racer? Just like holding the handlebars. Now passengers will notice this one. It's the 2-handed crotch grip. Dangerous stuff. Look out for the white knuckler. They usually have such a grip on the wheel, they would probably rip it out of the car if they crashed. This driver's worried about losing parts of the car. First the mirror is going to fall off. Now, holding onto the roof. In fact, there's only one right way to hold the steering wheel. 2 hands on the wheel, just about shoulder height. Not at the top, not at the bottom, just at shoulder height. You want a comfortable grip. Too tight, you lose any feel you get from the road. Too loose, you don't have control. It seems simple, but it is amazing how few people get it right. You wouldn't try to play baseball or hockey with 1 hand. Driving takes 2 hands, on the wheel, all the time. Now this is a racing driver's helmet. Now imagine driving at 200 miles an hour with just that much window. Your own car has a lot more windshield area. There's a good chance that you're not using it correctly. I have a graphic illustration for you. Too many drivers look down the hood, not down the road. When you're focusing only a few feet ahead, you're not seeing what's developing up the road. You haven't given yourself time to react. The results? Disaster. The solution? Look farther down the road. Now you can see the hazards before you have to deal with them. You've given yourself that vital extra second of safety. A German study shows that with 1 extra second's warning, 80% of accidents could be prevented. How do you get that extra second? By looking down the road, not down the hood. Now this is proof you can't lock up the wheels and steer. To avoid an accident, you have to be able to steer. Let me show you how it's done. Recognize this? Traffic is moving at 100 kilometers when suddenly the car ahead of you stops. Using the brakes alone, you can't avoid a collision.